So today is January 31st. It's been a while since I took the time to sit down and share. A lot has happened since the last time. My son is getting a divorce and moving home with his two children. My husband, who was laid off for a year, finally got a job, but now he's traveling a lot of the time. And our home has been completely disrupted and changed. And I actually love it. I love the way the changes have come about in our house, but it's just been a lot of work. The last I don't know. Well, all of January basically has been trying to get things ready, and he moves in this weekend, so in 2 days. My daughter with Down syndrome has been completely displaced because we don't have enough bedrooms for everybody. So now she's moved in with me, and that was a big adjustment for her because she doesn't have the vocabulary to say what's going on, why is this happening, and so it's been, and then she got sick, really sick this month. So while all this is going on, we still had to change the rooms around and get it ready so that my son could move in. And it's just been crazy, to say the least. The start of this new year has just been kind of like, I can't believe this is my life again. Because I turned 50, my baby was in school, and it kind of seemed like I had things all figured out, and now it's like, no, you don't. That's okay. That's just how you just have to flow with life, and allow and surrender to the process. So that's what I've been doing, and just allowing the inspiration to come and to flow with me, to guide me through all this. It's been crazy how the process has unfolded, because literally every single room in our house, including the laundry room and the pantry, had to have something changed in it in order to make space for my son and his family. And I just found this process really beautiful, being in this space of openness to receive guidance. And that's what the sacred secretion does. I haven't been able, probably since my son went on his mission, I haven't been able to sit in a normal, what I would call normal meditation. I've had to completely change how and when I meditate, but it hasn't mattered. I can feel that process working within me, and I can feel the guidance and the inspiration coming, and it's just been really beautiful to get myself ready. The other thing for my son and his family to join us, the other thing that happened this month was I sat in ceremony again with the sacred plant, grandfather peyote, and had an incredible healing experience with this sacred medicine. And deeply held wounds from the church were healed. And I don't know how this stuff, how it works, but I know it does. And I know my body physically changed and went through something incredible, as what felt like to me generational pain was being released and let go and transformed. It was my miracle. It took the bitterness and the anger and the resentment I had, and the feelings of like I had totally failed as a mother, because there was a lot of that going on with me in regards to my son's mission. And I suffered in that teepee. Physically, I was in pain. Mentally and emotionally, I was exhausted and just drained. I felt like I had physically ran a marathon or a Ragnar relay. It just physically was probably one of the hardest things I've done. And all I did was sit there with the medicine and really didn't even have thoughts to process. It was just all this physical stuff. It felt like, this is strange to say, but it felt like my DNA, the stuff that had been passed on generationally down from the women in my family, especially those who have had traumatic experiences through patriarchy in this religion. I could feel that being lifted and taken from me. And it was, I mean, that sounds crazy, but it was the most amazing and exhausting thing I've ever experienced. And then, so that was a Saturday. I write my son on Sunday, and he usually writes back on Monday. Well, he didn't have a chance to write me back that Monday, but he sent an email to the family. And those emails are the ones that I used to avoid because they just, you know, scream the Mormon parroting that my son is learning. And it was really, really hard for me. I couldn't get through one of those emails without tears or anger or just getting really upset. And I read that first email after my TP session and kind of waited for those feelings to come up, and they didn't come. And I'm sitting there looking at this going, wow. Because he didn't say anything different in this email that he hasn't said in previous ones, but there was just no reaction within me, no painful reaction. The only reaction within me was just love and gratitude for this, for my son, that I get to be his mom and support him on this path. And that's crazy because that was so not how I feel about his mission, and I didn't want to support him. So it was a complete 180 turnaround for me. And then he wrote me the next week and apologized for not having time to write me, and said that he had printed off my letter and spent some time reading it, because I shared with him my experience in the teepee, and I just really appreciate that he reads all my emails when I know anyways, they're not the traditional Mormon mom emails to him. I'm very honest and open and share everything. And he wrote back, and it was so just touching and beautiful to hear his response to me, and then to read the response, his emails to the other family, and not have, it's like that wound has just finally healed, and that's huge for me, because I've carried that around for 8 years. 8 years. It was almost exactly 8 years from the time I left the church until this last teepee ceremony. They pretty much happened exactly 8 years apart. And it was just so incredibly healing. At the same time, though, it didn't just miraculously happen, right? My body, my mind, everything, there was a process to it, and it was exhausting and painful. And there were a lot of tears in the teepee as well. A lot of tears after I came out and came home and just really got to process everything that had happened. So I'm still just kind of feeling like, I'm not sure. I guess there's nothing for me to do with it. It just, I don't know. It's like when you carry something for so long, or you've been hurt by someone or something for so long, and that gets fixed, that gets healed, that gets taken away. You kind of, part of you is identified with that pain. Part of you gets identified with that problem, that situation, or whatever. And learning that that was not who I really am, and to just let it go. That's kind of where I'm in that phase now. Like, where do I go with this? Well, just gratitude. I just need to have gratitude that that is what's happened, that I no longer am carrying that burden. But I carried it for a really long time, and I can see how in some ways it's hard to know, well, who am I without that? Anger. Anger was a big one. I was pissed off at a lot of things, and that's gone. And that's great. It leaves so much room and so much space for more beautiful things to come in. But it's weird when you first let go of it and realize the extent of the pain and the extent of the hurt and what I had carried for so long. I'll just say this. Plant medicine isn't for everyone, and the TP isn't the answer for everyone. But it's been my answer, and I hear Mother Aya calling me as well, and I expect to have an experience with that at some point in my life before I die. When I first started this process with the plant medicine, I felt like I needed to experience it often. And that was probably true in the beginning. But now it's not like that anymore. I probably won't sit in the teepee for another 6 months and just try to fully integrate everything that took place. And I just have so much, again, gratitude for this opportunity that I don't know anything else that could have healed that pain so quickly when I was ready. Clearly, I wasn't ready in all the other ceremonies that I'd been there before. I wasn't ready to let it go. But once I was, it just took it and transformed it. And it's really, really beautiful to not be carrying that weight. And it did the same thing for me with my family's pain, that my siblings and growing up, that family shattered when my father died. And now I understand the beauty in that. And I realized that we had to go through that. And my father's passing, he passed exactly the way he needed to, wanted to, even though I couldn't for the life of me for a long time understand why. he chose that path and why he chose such a miserable death. And but the plant medicine healed that, and healed it very quickly when I was ready. And it's done the same thing with my anger towards the Mormon church. I still would, I stand by everything I said about the church. I think it's a cult, and I would highly encourage people to investigate it before joining it. Investigate outside of the church, not the church sources, because they will not share the whole picture. But I just don't have the anger about it. I don't have the emotion tied into it. I can still feel the feelings. That's the difference. I can feel the feelings and let them come and let them go. Emotions are when you feel the feelings, but you can't let them go. You get stuck in that feeling of anger, or you get stuck in the hurt or the pain or whatever. Then it becomes an emotion that doesn't move out. And I think that's the difference now. I can feel the feelings, and I can understand where I came from with the pain and the sorrow and the hurts, the anger, but I don't hold on to it. And that's so huge. So huge. So I just wanted to share that. I created a new channel, the new name Nana, and it was pretty much just to be my space to vent. And now I don't need to do that. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to keep that going or what I'm going to do with that. But I am going to post a video on that, kind of explaining what happened in more detail with the TB ceremony, and what it felt like to go through that process and heal something that had been hurting me for so long. So, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do with that channel. I'll wait and see what inspiration comes to me about it. But so I just wanted to share that update. My family life has been super crazy and chaotic, but I love it. And now I'm gonna have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old in my life, having to help take care of them. So things are going to be different for a while I figure out a new normal, and while our family adjusts. So I probably won't make a new video until February. I do have some exciting things coming up that I'm going to be doing, but I'm not ready to talk about them probably until the equinox. So is when I'm going to start holding ceremony again. So yeah, until then, I guess just namaste, and thanks for listening.